next level.
Hello, and welcome back to the Anti-Beauty Guru channel. We are here to play with makeup and act like we know what we're doing. Today we're going to be doing some not so first impressions of some products that I've been really into recently. I feel like a lot of people do first impressions, and I know as far as I go personally, sometimes my first impression is not the most accurate one. So I figured I would kind of play around with some products for a little while and then come back and talk about what I do really like about them after using them for a while and what I don't like about them.
We're gonna play a little bit today with our eyeballs.
So a couple of the products that I'm gonna be talking about today are these Hidden Cosmetics, pause. Anyway, today some of the products that I'm gonna be talking about are these Hidden Cosmetics Magic Pigments, which are supposed to be some of the coolest, most iridescent, chrome kind of finishes eyeshadow pigments out there. And I keep dumping it all over my hands. Where the hell is this coming out of? Oh god, okay. Anyway, I ordered these a couple months ago in the UK somewhere. And I think that I pre-ordered them. It was like a pre-sale thing, which I didn't figure out until a couple weeks later when I was like,
why haven't I gotten a shipping confirmation yet?
If I would read, then I would know. So they finally came in and I've been playing with them a little bit, and I'm excited to kind of show you what they look like. Another item that we're gonna be using is something you've probably never heard of, probably don't know who this is, or the company itself. Just a little indie company called Morphe with a very small YouTuber called James Charles. They kind of threw some items together and made this pretty average looking palette, you know, anyway. So we're gonna be talking about this guy too. I've been playing with these guys for a little while. I've been trying to step outside of my comfort zone with some colors. I do try to use colorful pigments, I feel like, just to kind of spice things up and be a little bit out of the norm. But I also feel like there are colors that I definitely don't use as much, like the yellows and the oranges and maybe even the greens. So I think we're gonna try to play with some of those today. So let's start this not so first impressions of a few of the products that I've been playing with recently. So I've done like just the base of my makeup. As you can see, tried to keep my eyebrows relatively under control today. You know, it's a work in progress. I think slowly but surely maybe we're getting there. Yeah, foundation, concealer, blush, bronzer, eyebrows. I did also prime my lids with this MAC Paint Pot in Painterly because I heard from James Charles, because we're besties, that this palette works better with some type of like primer for eyeshadow specifically, and not just using like a concealer like Shape Tape, which is what I usually use. I'm gonna try to make everything work as best as possible, and as I make something up, I'll kind of tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and kind of go from there. So let's make something up. Let's zoom on in, shall we? Hello. Oh, also, nose contour is not my thing. I've been trying to do it recently, and as you can see, I'm not great at it. So let's just ignore the weird like lines I have on my nose and pretend that that didn't happen. I'll never do it again. Okay, so like I said, I primed my lids already with the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. The MAC Painterly Paint Pot. Yes. So right out the gate, I do want to vocalize the fact that I feel like these little containers are hazardous. I feel like I've been dumping these all over the place, and I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know if they seal all the way or if they're so messy. That could again be my lack of experience with a ton of other loose pigments, but I just feel like there should be a better way to package them or something. And I don't like this whole screw top thing. I don't really know what a better option would be, but I'm not liking it. So I think for starters, we're gonna go in with You're Kidding, because I've been dreaming about this shade. Oh, that's a little dramatic. I've been dying to use this shade. Like the reddish shade. Oh my God. And just kind of like maybe pack it on the outside of the lid and like kind of just up in the crease a little bit. So one thing that I've found after using this palette a couple times, and like I said, I've tried to use a a decent variety of like the colorful shades as well as the neutral shades, is that I really do feel like the pigmentation in this palette is like bomb. Like it's really good. I haven't found a shade yet that I've been like disappointed in. I feel like they've all performed really well, and they also like packing the color is like pretty easy. And oh my god, literally this contour is like so stupid looking. I look like Pinocchio a little bit, I feel like. Yeah, great pigmentation. I also feel like there's really hardly any fallout. So far I've really enjoyed this palette. I feel like it's super colorful. Again, it's very inspirational because I feel like it has a lot of colors that I don't use as often, but I've been trying to find ways to make them more wearable, if you will. You guys should know that I really hate that term because I feel like just wear it and it's wearable. Congratulations. Another thing that I really love about this palette is that I feel like these colors are extremely blendable. I feel like they blend together really well. I'm just going to take a little bit of this like kind of denser like crease brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Rusted. Yeah, I'm going to go into the shade Rusted and just kind of like blend out this red a little bit further out of my crease. Next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this tiny, like almost like more pencil type brush, and then go into 518, which is like the orangey shade, and kind of again extend that color just kind of up a little bit closer to my eyebrow. One thing that I would say to anybody new, like trying to get into colorful eyeshadow or just eyeshadow in general, is patience is extremely important. I think one thing that's overlooked a lot in, you know, watching tutorials on YouTube in general is the fact that obviously editing makes it look like it goes by a lot faster. Blending is important. Going back into the same colors is important. Kind of isolating each color to one specific brush, especially for looks like this where you don't want it to look muddy, is also really important. As you can see, what I kind of feel like helped in this situation is kind of like patting the color in kind of where you want it, and then going in with like a fluffy crease brush and then blending them together a little more has helped, so you can really get a very pigmented and vibrant color. Again, these are all things that just work for me and that have been helpful to me. I never claim to be an expert on these things. If anything, I just like to make it up as I go and like fail or succeed in front of you, which I feel like is kind of helpful to not make it look like everything works out perfectly all the time. Because I feel like sometimes making something work that you feel like is kind of failing as troubleshooting is also helpful in the makeup journey. So yeah, those are some of the things that I feel like have helped with this this specific palette also. So yeah, I'm just kind of like packing this orange, like patting it, I guess, around that rusted color around the edges, and then just kind of soften it out. I will blend it with like a clean crease brush. I'm just gonna go back into Rusted a little bit and kind of blend those two colors together. Again, kind of doing some of that like packing motion a little bit more. And then I'm just gonna take this like fluffier crease blush. Now I'm just gonna take this little like fluffier crease brush and then just kind of blend the outer edge a little bit more. So something I'd kind of like to try different today is trying to cut my crease with concealer instead of actually using the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. I know this kind of goes against what James had suggested as far as what to use with these palettes, but I'm just going to try to cut, like do a half cut crease and then leave enough room for the actual Hidden Cosmetics pigment. This is really not the time to be working. I will screw this up, Dexter. So when you get that relatively even, which in my standard is basically not even at all, but I'm sick of trying to fix it. So we're gonna stop there. Then I'm gonna go in with the Magic Pigment from Hidden Cosmetics in Lucky Pebble. So I think I'm actually gonna go into Love That, which is like a deeper purplish maroon shade to blend the pigment with your Kidding on the outer corner. Another thing that I did after I went back in with some of the shades I'd used already is I took Escape, which is that deep purple color, and kind of stamped that in between where I put the pigment and the shade You're Kidding to kind of help blend the whole situation together. Now what I'm gonna do for the lower lash line is take that same shade Escape and kind of stamp that really close to my waterline. And then also for that lower lash line, I think that I want to go into this very hot pink color called Skip and kind of blend the purple and this hot pink together. I've been literally trying to put on these lashes for like 20 minutes. I don't know why I even try anymore. The bane of my makeup existence. You are the bane of my makeup existence. Oh my God, why can't I do this? Oh my God, I think I may have done it. Also off camera, I decided to put on this LA Girl Glide Gel Liner in my waterline in the shade Paradise Purple. Popped on a little bit of mascara and then took 3 years to put on my Ardell Faux Mink lashes in the style 810, which I do love, but for some reason, I just suck at putting them on. I think also what I'm gonna do is try to keep my lips a little bit neutral, and I think I'm gonna go in with Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipstick in Mannequin, and then go over the top with ColourPop Ultra Gloss Lip in Moonchild. Oh, it's still doing it. It's still like coming up in the inner corner. I don't know why I can't do this. All right, so that is the finished look. Thank you for joining me for this not so first impressions of the Morphe X James Charles palette, as well as the Hidden Cosmetics Magic Pigments, specifically the Lucky Pebble shade. So some of my other thoughts regarding the Morphe X James Charles palette. I know I gave little snippets as I was going, but overall, I really do feel like this is a great palette. I feel like the colors are vibrant. I feel like they blend really well together. You're able to do a lot of fun and creative things, which has been really fun. I do feel like the James Charles palette is extremely versatile, which has been really fun. It does have those huge pans in the middle of the neutral shades that you can use on a day-to-day basis, but also gives you these other opportunities to kind of branch out and do some really colorful and fun things, which I have been really enjoying. All of the colors that I've used so far have been very easy to blend, super pigmented with like zero to little fallout. So I've really been enjoying my time using this. I have used it quite a bit so far. The Hidden Cosmetics Magic Pigments have also been super fun. I think one of the only downsides, which I think is not necessarily specific to these magic pigments, is the fact that loose pigments can be kind of frustrating to work with in the sense that they're just very messy. I did learn from the first time that I used the magic pigments before that stamping loose powder liberally underneath your eyes as you're doing the eye look, or maybe even just doing your eye look before your foundation, will also kind of help save you from some of the headaches of it falling out all over your face. But other than that, I do really like the way that they look. I feel like it gives this really cool iridescence, which has like at least a couple shades and colors into it. It kind of reminds me of like a butterfly's wing, the way that it has all those different shifts and shades depending on where the light is hitting it. Definitely worth it, I think. I mean, you don't really need a ton. When I first got these, I was like,
these are really small.
But you really don't need a ton when you are working with it. It was just a couple small little dips into the actual loose pigment, and then, you know, you stamp it on, which I think has worked the best in my experience. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. Like I said, I think first impressions sometimes, with me anyway, aren't exactly the most accurate. I have to play with things a little more. I have to, you know, use them with different products and different brushes and things to really find my groove and what works for me. I really do feel like, as James had said before, using some sort of like specific eyeshadow primer has definitely helped bring out like the really deep and awesome pigments in these colors. So that is definitely a good tip that I would go with as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to hang out with me in the future. And we're just gonna pretend that you can't tell that my eyelashes are coming off at this moment, because I'm not even gonna deal with it anymore. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye. I hope you guys, oh my God. Okay, this is the last try, and then I'm not doing this anymore.